Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Build and Breathe. This is a podcast that is meant to really help you improve your professional life as well as your life outside of your professional career.
I'm Cory Silva. I'm a girl dad, founder of a custom software agency, and a former athlete trying to figure out my fitness journey. Here to explore the grind, the growth, and the game of building business and life at the same time.
And my name is Nik Andrews, also an entrepreneur, fitness expert that is published both in radio and TV, and an actor. I am currently building the most comprehensive and value-packed corporate wellness product on the market. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to Build and Breathe.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to kick things off with a trendy question that Cory and I kind of pondered. And the question is Pilates enough to transform my body? This is a really interesting topic, and it's come up in my world over the last week or two, especially. Actually, primarily because of the Victoria's Secret model runway show. It kind of came up in conversation. Every year, every time this show comes around, it's a lot of social media conversations, mostly women obviously participating in like, how do I get a body like that and this and that, right? Very happy to see this year there's a trending video that I've seen numerous times now where it's like, everybody's saying it's their genetics, and then it has the models talking about their fitness regimen and how many days a week and how many hours they actually train and what they're doing for nutrition. And what I love even more, actually, let's talk about this body positivity wise, right? Like, I do want to address this, and I want to give a shout out to, like, if somehow this miraculously reaches that space in that division. I love the fact that Victoria's Secret models have come from very, very skinny and frail to now we're seeing more like muscular, sculpted frames on stage. Like, you're seeing muscle tone. Now, keep in mind, these women are like 5'10", 5'11", 5'9", right? So they're tall, but they are carrying quite a bit of muscle on them. A lot of them are moms, moms of two, moms of three, moms of one, right? And they're also aging them up. Like, there are ladies up there that are like in and around their 30s, if not like up to 35,
Right.
which is awesome. Like, all of this is really, really positive stuff. But the main takeaway was that these Victoria's Secret models are not just doing Pilates and not just doing low impact training. I recently was in a conversation with two separate Pilates instructors, both of which obviously teach Pilates and are amazing at it. They're incredible, and their bodies are fantastic.
Yep.
But they have a baseline of weight training within their regimen. And that's not a secret. Like, they're not saying like, all I do is Pilates. That's not true. They have a core of like 3 to 4 workouts per week of resistance.
Yep.
And then the rest of the time, their specialty is Pilates to like cater it. But Cory, have you ever tried a Pilates class?
I have never
Have you ever tried
Pilates.
any low impact? Like, have you ever done yoga? There's something in the LA called Solid Core, which is like just a core class on a reformer.
Oh, okay. No, never tried that. I have done yoga a few times before. Yeah. That's really the
Okay.
only low impact type of class I've ever tried that I can think of right now.
How'd your body take it? Like, what is your perspective of it? Like, how did you feel
My body hurt. Yeah.
afterwards?
My body hurt. Yeah, after the first time like doing yoga specifically for the first time, I remember
Yeah.
my body hurt, and like I understood why though. Like, the positions I was putting my body in for a sustained period of time were not natural movements for my body at the
Yeah.
moment, right? Like, they were novel, they were new. And so I knew it was going to hurt. I guess I was a little surprised of how sore my body actually was, but it's just because like I was putting my body in like a strained position that it hasn't really been in before.
For sure.
And something to be said as well as like, using body weight
Yeah.
can also be just like a very different experience versus like strength training. But yeah, that was my experience with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out some like terms here, but like basically in terms of these come up in female conversations a lot, but like lengthening exercises is what they're called, right? They're kind of misinterpreted. Women think that it's about making your muscles long. There's actually nothing that can make your muscles quote unquote long. You can't change the genetic tie-ins of your muscle tissues. what lengthening exercises are is that you're essentially extending it to its fullest stretch position, i.e., putting it in a vulnerable state and holding that vulnerable state, which is why when you do Pilates, you feel the soreness in like when and if you ever do it, Cory, you're gonna feel pain in like little crevices of your muscle tissues because they're not used to holding tension in those really, really awkward positions of elongated muscle fiber, like lengthened positions, quote unquote. The other
Right.
thing you hear of is like that's really oversold is deep core work, which is sold as like making your belly flat. Really, what it is it's higher focus to deeper exhales, which tighten your abdominal wall more. So it just contracts your abs on a different level, on a deeper level. It's not that different from training abs, except for the fact that when you train abs, you never get taught to think about it. You just kind of like move through the movements.
Right.
But if you were to slow it down and breathe, it would automatically go into deep core work. And
Mm.
then it would be the same as those like solid core classes, which I love. I love solid core is a really, really cool fitness class that focuses and teaches you on the right positioning and the right breathing for core work, as an example. The other thing that I wanted to cover with this is, and this is not me saying it, but like one of the Pilates experts was saying it, you cannot tone, and we hear girls always saying, I want to tone myself. You
Hmm.
cannot tone what is not built, is what she said.
I
So
like
the
that.
build needs to be there. And the build in this case is resistance training. So for any ladies listening, and honestly, same with guys. Like guys are like, I want to get ripped. You can't get ripped
There's
when
not.
there's no muscle to show off. It is the same exact, like men and women have differing bodies. This is not one of those areas where it's different. Build and then lower the body fat, and now all of a sudden you get toned or you get ripped. It means the same thing. The only difference is the amount of muscle mass we're talking about, and generally the gender, male, female. That's really it.
Fair. Fair. Yo, dude. So okay, I have some questions then about,
Yeah,
and I wonder if you can provide some perspective on this. So
I'm
okay,
gonna
well,
take a sippy sip. Yeah, cool.
yeah, Pilates.
Mm.
So then, okay, there's two questions. I'm gonna ask both, but we'll stick with one first. So the first one is like, well, what is the benefits of Pilates and like maybe these like low impact classes and exercises? But then two, why do people feel like it is enough? Like if do you I want to know your opinion on that. Like why do people just assume that like just doing Pilates is enough and they don't need this like, base of like strength training or anything like that? Like, and I have my own opinion. I want to hear yours, but let's go with the first one. Like, what are the benefits of Pilates? Let's play devil's advocate on like, there's
Sure.
benefits to it because like there obviously it is, very popular and you know some amazing coaches who teach it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to hear about that.
First things first, any exercise is good. So if you're talking about baseline of like no exercise versus exercise, exercise is good. So if the
Fair.
conversation is, I don't like anything else, I hate everything else, I will sit on a couch for the remainder of my life unless I do Pilates, do Pilates.
Do you play? Yeah, it's fair.
That is the conversation. As far as benefits to it, you do practice some flexibility. You certainly practice a lot of control. So you're going to get some good core stability work, which obviously trains your spine to stay straight. There's some injury prevention mechanisms there. It does carry with it some resistance training for sure. So you are going to build muscle, but to an extent, and that limit is going to be a little bit lower. Like this is why I guess girls are not afraid to take as many Pilates classes as possible because you will not get jacked doing Pilates. That
Mm,
sounds like a good thing, except for the fact that you will also not build the amount of muscle you actually want to probably look the ideal self that you have built up. I've seen this over and over again with my female clients. It What they think they can't do is exactly what they need to do to look the way they actually want to look. Mixed with Pilates. I'm not saying excluded. The third and really, really important benefit, I would say, honestly, to Pilates is that and this is true for any low impact class, it doesn't stress your body out. And that is a good thing when you are trying to lose body fat. Cortisol is a stress hormone.
Yep.
Cortisol is spiked when you do very, very strenuous activity. An example of strenuous activity is going for a very long run or jog, which is another common thing that people do when they try to lose body fat, right? They go for an hour run, 2 hour run, whatever, right? More running, more running every day.
Yep.
Generally speaking, women are more sensitive from a hormonal standpoint, especially when it comes to stress.
Okay.
So if a girl wanting to lose body fat goes and starts running for an hour each day, 5 days a week, her hormones are thinking that she's in absolute survival mode. Like her stress is going to go through the roof.
Hmm.
That's not going to be the most optimal way to do it. Now, if that same girl took Pilates and burnt around the same amount of calories in a Pilates class, it would benefit her more because her cortisol levels wouldn't have shot up as much. So her body's not as much in survival mode.
Right.
Because her body's not as much in survival mode, her body is willing to burn some of the fat stores because fat stores are there for us to, like, as a just in case we don't get food for the next 2, 4 days. So because our body is more calm, it can burn more fat. So that's a huge benefit of Pilates. It can offset a lot of the stressful other workouts that we have in our routine. And it plays well with a high stress load lifestyle. Let's say you're, I don't know, a high level manager with lots of consulting type of decisions, right? Millions and millions of dollars of deals are on the line or whatever, right? Or you're running around with, I don't know, 4 kids, right? And it's just go, 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 go. Cortisol is high. Pilates can be something where you're moving, but it's not spiking it as much.
Right. Cool. Okay. Now, what about the second part of the question? So those are kind of like the benefits
Yeah.
that you talked about. So second part, more about your opinion as why do people like have that mindset that just doing Pilates would be enough? Like, is it
Ah,
just lack of education? Is it just like,
I think it's lack of education, yeah, for the most
yeah,
part. I think it's two things. I think that most people, from my experience, gauge their workout on how much sweat they have and how sore they are. And neither of those are great indicators. Sweat simply means that your temperature, your body temperature rose up significantly, right? Or your heart rate went high, which can be an indicator, but it's not the only indicator that you did work, right? Like if you were to do, I don't know, a very, very low impact workout for 2 hours and you didn't sweat a little bit, you still would be burning a ton of calories, right? So just because you didn't sweat doesn't mean that necessarily you didn't actually output calories. That's one. Two, soreness. Soreness is just lactic acid buildup. It happens anytime you essentially shock your body or put it through something different, right? If you do the same type of exercises over and over and over again, your body gets more proficient in it. And it means that your body's going to process that lactic acid in those same regions a little bit better. So progressively, you're going to get less and less sore. That doesn't mean that you had less of a workout necessarily. That just means that you did something similar to what your body knows.
mm,
So it doesn't make the workout any less effective. It just means that you've done something similar to what you already have done before. You can
gotcha.
continue to chase the shock, but I would say that focus on the progression path within it, not chasing the soreness. Don't chase the feeling of a broken body. That's not really the goal.
Fair. Cool. So for I think for everyone, like, the question initially asked was like, is Pilates enough to transform your body? From one extreme end, if your option is doing nothing or doing Pilates, do Pilates. But overall, as like a holistic like fitness and wellness strategy, like Pilates is not enough to transform your body, probably in the way that you are thinking about it. It like just you need to have, like Nik said, like this a base, right? You need to have a core. So like Pilates can be part of it, but it should not be like, you're 7 days a week just doing that and you're gonna get exactly where you need to get. But if it's for you, like I said, if it's the option of sitting on a couch, like obviously, like doing Pilates is like
Yeah, I think it can
to it.
take you a good portion of the way into your fitness journey, especially if you're starting. But
Yeah.
as you continue through the journey, you are going to need to revisit some of the foundational elements, and those foundational elements will always be resistance training. Anybody, last just takeaway point, sorry to cut you off, Cory.
You're good.
If anybody here is listening and they are heading into their 30s, heading into their 40s, heading into their 50s, and they have not implemented strength training, a really, really important thing to note here is it is vastly important for bone density and for making sure that your bones don't deteriorate as you age, as well as your joints, as well as your mobility. So please, please, please continue doing your Pilates, continue doing your yoga and stuff like that, but implement resistance training to make sure that your bones stay strong throughout your aging process.
All right, moving on to our next segment here. It's Fluffy to Buffy. This is where Nik is doing some live coaching and helping me through my fitness journey. And it's been really interesting because over the last month, I would say, of starting, I've been working towards a marathon. We have now passed that point, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. And, talking about what potentially next steps might look like. But this is just me getting some live coaching from a fitness expert like Nik himself, and getting some support in getting my body to where I want to get it.
Yeah. Okay, Cory, congrats
Yeah.
on your marathon run. How are you feeling? My first question is, how's your body feeling?
Body, honestly, I think recovery did pretty good. And I don't think I helped myself all that much in terms of recovery. I think I probably could have done more on my recovery, but overall, pretty good. I was really happy with my marathon time. I finished in under 4.5 hours, which was awesome. I will say that the last 10 kilometers of that marathon was both a physical and mental struggle. First, from 5 kilometers to 33, man, or 32.
Yeah.
Flying.
Nice.
I was like, I'm gonna hit sub 4 hours here. I'm like, are you kidding right now? I was like, man, I'm moving, I'm passing people. I'm like, see ya.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hit a wall in the last 10 kilometers, and my hamstring pulled. I was like Terry Fox running, essentially. And yeah, I didn't stop. I always kept going. I had a solid nutrition and hydration plan throughout my race. I had just enough of everything that I needed, but it was definitely a lot of Cory, don't stop, Cory, don't stop, Cory, don't stop, Cory, don't stop. Just keep moving forward
For 10 kilometers,
for
that
10
same soundtrack.
kilometers. Yep, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And I was listening to music too, and I think the song "Go to the Distance" from Hercules came on,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "This is so perfect. Thank you, Spotify. I appreciate
Amazing.
you."
Amazing.
But the recovery. So that day, bottom half of my body was so sore. We
Yeah.
talked about lactic acid buildup right before. I put my body through my legs specifically through a lot. But nothing that I think you hear from a lot of other marathoners is I didn't lose any toenails. I didn't get any blisters. I didn't get any joint pains or injuries. I was just sore and had muscle soreness and maybe some soreness in my hips from that much impact. The next day was very similar. Tuesday, it got a little bit better. It was just maybe some soreness in my quads and hamstrings. And then by Wednesday, I was honestly pretty fine and ended up going to hockey yesterday and felt pretty good. So,
Okay. Any lower back tightness at all after the
nope,
run?
nope.
Okay, cool. So your
Yeah,
hamstrings are fine. Yeah, usually hamstring tightness can lead to lower back tightness. If it doesn't progress up into the lower back, that means hamstrings are generally within the reasonable amount of tension kind of thing. Have your hamstrings healed up? You noticed that you said that you pulled it in the first couple of kilometers, or no, towards the end.
yeah. It was by kilometer 33 is when I pulled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just my right hamstring, and it only lasted maybe 5 minutes. Truthfully,
Okay.
it felt like it pulled, and then I slowed down a lot. I fueled up a little bit more, and I just kept kind of limp running until I kind of felt it disappear, and then it was fine, and then it never happened again, and it was fine.
Okay.
So
Maybe more of a cramp then. It sounds like maybe
yes,
a
sorry,
dehydration thing. Okay, got it. Got
yeah,
it.
more of a cramp than an actual pull itself. Yeah,
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. All right. And then how are you feeling post hockey? Let's walk through that. That's Wednesday?
that was Wednesday evening.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt fine. I wasn't too sure if I was like my legs would feel exhausted during hockey and after hockey feel like spaghetti.
Yeah.
They felt normal. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So
totally
upper
fine.
body is back to normal. Talk to me about your energy levels. How are you feeling overall, like as far as sleep, alertness throughout the day, that kind of stuff? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, alertness throughout the day, like decent. Sleep has been a little bit regressed right now. I've been going to bed a lot later. Some, I'd say personal life stresses of like, figuring out like we're potentially moving and working a little bit later too. So I haven't done myself any favors. So I've been sleeping maybe a couple hours less than I normally would sleep per night. But like my energy throughout the day, I'd say is like pretty decent. And yeah, so overall, like energy levels, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would say right now it's probably like a 6.8.
Okay, got it. 6.8.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to talk about the implementation plan. So I think we should take 2 weeks to rebuild some strength and predominantly trigger your testosterone levels to boost back up. So lifting heavy at lower volume is kind of going to be the goal for the next 2 weeks. This is again just taking you out of the marathon training mindset. This should also help regulate a little bit of the sleep, if not quantity, then just deepness in general. So basically, kind of what we talked about earlier on in the episode as well. This plays trying not to spike your cortisol levels, trying to let them regulate back down from all of the running that you did and stuff, all the long distance stuff. So just to reprogram that. And then after the 2 weeks is up, we're going to hit you with a deficit in terms of calories, and we're going to start putting a little bit more stress on you, start lowering that body fat content. So if
Cool.
by chance this first week runs really, really well, maybe we start that deficit next week. It'll kind of going to be, it's going to be a feel it out sort of thing. You're going to tell me how you feel, and then we go from there. As far as
Cool.
training for this week, I would like to do, let me ask you this. Today, Saturday, Sunday, are you able to train, or is that off the charts?
No, that is definitely not off the charts. I absolutely can. Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll hit you with a upper body push, upper body pull, and then a lower body on Sunday. We'll
Cool.
rest you for a day or two next week. And
Cool.
then next week, I'm going to give you a 5-day split. So we're going to start increasing the volume of your lifts a little bit more. My question
Sounds good.
before we commit to that though is 5 days feasible, or should we jump up to 4 based on how much hockey you've got?
I would do 5. I would just let's make it not on the days that I have hockey, which are consistently Sunday and Wednesday. So I was actually just about to ask that. So this Sunday, like I can go work out and go play hockey as well too, but I would prefer maybe not to, so I don't
I see.
completely stress out my body. But I'm happy to
Yes.
do it. Like I've done it before.
Let's not do that. Let's do Friday, Saturday. We're gonna hit just your upper body for this week. I just don't want to make you do a lower body day, go play hockey right after that. So let's scrap the lower body for this week. Just upper body push today, upper body pull tomorrow, hockey Sunday, and then
Yep.
next week we'll start fresh with the 5-day split.
Cool. Yeah, I think that
Sound
sounds
good?
great. And yeah, 5 days
Cool.
is great.
Within the upper body push, the focus is going to be on your flat bench press. That's going to be a 5x5 mechanism. So it's going to be 5 sets of 5 reps with longer rest. We're focusing on lifting as heavy as possible, resting lots again to not get you into a breathless state. Goal is just to try to feel strength again and try to feel very, very positive and controlled within those movements themselves. Try to lift as much as you can. On your pull, that same methodology is going to be used for your barbell bent over row. On
Okay.
both days, you're going to have a few more accessory workouts as well. So it's going to be a little bit of cables, a little bit of dumbbells after that is done. So 5 sets of 5 on the heavy movement, and then some of the lighter movements to kind of finish off and taper off the workout. I'm going to build that out for like a 45, 50-minute session. Doesn't have to be more than an hour.
Sweet.
Majority of that time is going to be spent on that 5x5. That 5x5 is going to take probably 20-ish minutes out of that 45-minute time span. And then the rest is going to move fairly quickly and snappy. Nutrition wise, let's see what Cory is doing as far as food. How
It's
you
not
do?
that. It was not that good.
Why are you laughing? Okay.
my protein goals. Yeah,
Jeez, yeah.
it was just garbage. It was so bad.
Okay, guys, Corey's hitting an average of 116 grams of protein. His goal is 185. Corey,
Yeah,
eat some meat, man.
I can speak to this. I can speak to this.
Okay, all right, speak to it.
Yeah, it's a really dumb excuse, but it's the excuse I'm gonna go with.
Dude,
The days I don't work out, I don't have a lot of protein because my default is like when I go work out, I eat a lot and then I also like what's it called have like my protein shake afterwards. So I've like
uh-huh.
been missing like a default of at least like, call it 30 to 40 grams of protein from that and then a meal that I usually have like with my workouts
Okay.
and I've been in recovery and so I haven't like been I just it's so dumb. It's I know I should
I've
be
been
eating.
yes, I've been in recovery, but I haven't eaten the thing that helps me recover.
Part of like it's so weird, man, because part of it too is like I'm also not like it's like I'm not craving to eat more, like, and it's like
I was just gonna say, is this a habit thing or is this a hunger thing? And
I
it
feel like
sounds
it's a
like a hunger
hunger
thing.
thing. It's a
Right,
hunger thing. Like I don't feel hungry, and I like I feel like
right,
if I'm gonna be eating that extra protein, like I'm force feeding myself to go
right,
do it.
right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
So this is kind of normal.
Okay.
It's actually a pretty good place to be because what happens, it means that you're a little bit more attuned to what your body needs and or what it feels at least, right? So the
Mm.
reason you're not hungry is because your energy output is lower. If your energy output was higher, your body thinks, okay, we need to eat more, right? Good in terms of energy attunement, bad, I think, in terms of priority. So if hunger was down, the priority should be getting protein with some vegetables rather than the carbohydrates. Yes, I know it's a little bit tougher to eat, but retraining and trying to flip the priority there is probably a better option.
Yeah.
Again, going back to our scale of like convenience versus nutrition density, right? So hammering down a protein shake at the very least, but you can try to create a little bit of like a protein pudding or something, or like something snack-ish.
We just did that. We made protein balls. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
something that can help get those nutrients in on the days when you're not feeling too hungry. Okay, so with that said now, running is out of the picture now, or where are you at with running, energy
Yeah,
output wise?
I'm not gonna run anymore now. Like the weather's getting colder. I'm not really into treadmill running, so my cardio to me is gonna come from hockey. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
because the energy output from the running is off now, one more added hockey is on, and then we have a few more weight resistance sessions that are going to be added. Let's keep the 2,200 calories that we have as your goal for now, only to see where your weight stabilizes at the moment. So we need to see where we don't move anywhere on the scale, right? I am hoping that you actually start dropping weight a little bit on the 2,200. That would put us in a really, really good spot. But we'll know this week. I'm going to assign you a weigh-in as well
Cool.
for the Monday, and I'm putting that in right now for you. There. So 2,200, we're not going to change anything. I do want you to hit those protein goals for sure. Um, it's going to be easier as we reintroduce those workouts, and you're going to get hungry again. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Blame my recovery. Stupid recovery.
Sure. Yeah. No more recovery for you, dude. You're done. You're done recovering. Get out of there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our final segment, Touch Grass. This is where we, as working adults, as men, just try to ground ourselves in the week that just happened, talk about our wins, our challenges, and then maybe some of the stuff from previous weeks and how we want to like move forward with some of our challenges as well too, and try to kind of keep it on a solution-based way to end the segment. So we'll start out the same way we did last time as well. We'll start with our wins. So Nick, do you want to kind of kick us off with like some wins here, or a win?
Sure. Yeah.
Last week you had a bunch. It was great.
Yeah. Last week was a good week. This week, I would say that I stayed on top of my LinkedIn stuff. So this is now 2 weeks
I
in a row.
saw.
So thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. So I think
Yes.
we can build up the volume, but I have like my baseline, which is nice. So I'm getting more comfortable with drafting and just scheduling it out and not really overthinking it, which is great. That's a great place to be.
Yes.
The other one that I have is my app. My app prototype is looking pretty good. I'm thinking of creating a little video
Nice.
as a demo for it, but it's starting to look presentable to the point where I could present it in a sales conversation. I know we previously talked about that. And
Cool.
my next win is I am looking at getting a salesperson on board for my company. So I'm having a meeting this Saturday, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But obviously, I have someone in mind who I think is wonderful and is great at sales, and I think it could be a very cool partnership. It's just about structuring that out and making sure that it makes sense for both of us.
Cool. And this is for like your corporate
Yeah, corporate
program.
wellness. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yep. Gotcha. Gotcha. Very cool. That's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, finding the right person for those types of roles can be difficult if you already know someone in mind and it already seems like a pretty good fit. Like, man, like finding the right person that knows how to do sales, it's a skill that will not die.
sure. Yeah,
So, yeah, love that, man. That's awesome.
yeah. How about you, man? Swinging it over to you.
Yeah, so I had a few wins as well too. So one win, I mean, we just talked about it in the last segment as well too, but a huge win for me was completing my marathon. So I think that was awesome. That was I tried to set a physically challenging goal for myself every single year. Last year was a competitive half marathon time, and I did that in like an hour and 40 minutes. This year was just completing a marathon in just a decent time. The challenge itself was just the distance. So, yeah, I think that was awesome. I don't know what my physical challenge for next year will be, if it will be still like within a race concept or maybe it's something else. I'm not too sure. But I want to find something because it's really, one, fun to work towards a very larger goal like that. And two, just kind of pushes your body maybe in a way that you haven't before. So,
Yeah. Did
so
you
yeah, so that
you
was a
did
huge,
the Spartan, right?
not Spartan, but for many years I did Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder,
Um,
right? That was the one.
yeah, I think I did for 3 or 4 years in a row.
Right.
And truthfully, like it's 15K, bunch of obstacles. It's more fun than it is challenging, I would say, after a while.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, if you don't train, and at the time I was like training for a half marathon, like I was running a lot, I had pretty good endurance, like I was strength training, I had a great strength, so like it wasn't terribly difficult. And so when you do it enough times, it's like you know what to expect. Your body already kind of knows what to expect, and it becomes easier. So yes, I don't know, but I might try maybe like a Spartan race. Spartan races are a little bit more difficult than I would say than that, so that could be another fun little challenge.
Maybe you can get Johan to come out.
Maybe I'm sure he would love that because I think he did Tough Mudder. Yeah, we did it all together once. I think
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and his brother as well too, which was really cool. So yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
Nice.
So that was
Good.
one big win for me this week. And then similar actually in the LinkedIn vein. So I talked about last week, a challenge was that like I kind of dipped off on posting, but we talked a little bit about like, even though you have that dip, doesn't mean you lose your audience, you lose your network, you don't lose your authority essentially, right? And so yeah, anyways, but on the positive side, I did start reposting again. So yeah, I've been posting like pretty much almost every day this week, which has been great. I even very openly shared. I'm like, hey, I haven't posted on LinkedIn in 2 weeks, and this is why. But this is what happened. And kind of shared like very
That's
similar to the
awesome.
conversation that
That's
we had,
relatable.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like these were the like I didn't post, but this was also what happened in the last 2 weeks, and they were really awesome wins, right? So
Right.
again, talking about like the things you do offline, if you want what your online presence is to be important and meaningful, like you need to do the work offline, right? Because
Hmm.
otherwise you have nothing meaningful to share, nothing relatable. You're just throwing words at a screen. It means nothing, right? So anyway, so it's good to get back into the swing of that. So I would say those are probably my biggest two wins is the marathon and kind of getting back into the posting schedule.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Challenges?
Yeah, man.
Failures?
Challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
challenges over the last week. And then how we're going to kind of tangibly improve upon, right? And hopefully this is maybe relatable to some people, right? We can talk through solutions.
Yeah, I can start us off with some
Hmm.
challenges and
Do it.
failures maybe. So I would say the biggest challenge for me right now is actually, I'll kind of go towards like a personal one as well, is moving. We're, trying to move. And I would say it's created some difficult conversations between myself and my fiance about where we want to move. And like, what's important to like me, what's important to her, what's important for the family. And those conversations have been difficult because for anyone that doesn't know, like I live downtown Toronto right now, love the city, been here for 4 years, and it's been fantastic. I've loved it. But we have a 10-month-old baby at home. We have a pretty big dog, and we're in like a 2-bed condo. And so things are getting pretty tight, and we're looking for some more space. But trying to figure out where to live is a more difficult conversation than I really ever thought it would be. Yeah, trying to balance between like what you actually think is important for yourself, right? Like, is it being around family and friends? Is it being around a community of entrepreneurs for your business? Is it, having a support network for taking care of your baby? Is it just purely just having more space? Is it a mixture of all of them, right? And in our case, it is very much a mixture of many things. And so trying to find the compromise that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like it's been a challenge. So no failure in it. It's just like been a really tough conversation of trying to figure out where to live.
Yeah.
Because one option is like across the country. Some other options are just like, 45 minutes to an hour and a half out of the city. So yeah, so that's kind of been the challenges that I've been dealing with this week. So
That's a tough one to write medication for, isn't it? Like you just got to kind of live through it. But
yeah.
I guess like have you thought about how to let's assume that you have to move. Let's do it twofold. Have you thought about how you would maintain like family relationships or family relationships if you moved far away, like across the country? Or have you thought about how you would maintain business relationships or like that entrepreneurial kind of thing if you had to move
Yeah.
to the burbs, like either or? Have you thought about that? Have you considered that? How do you balance that? Because maybe there's people listening that are entrepreneurs in the suburbs, or maybe people that are considering
Yep.
moving away, but family is like an anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have thought about it. So like I'll start maybe with like the suburb approach and keeping like, my network for my business. So the way that I would do it, and I'm fortunate enough in that like, my brother and like even my parents have like a space downtown. If I was to move out into the burbs, I would probably go into the city like for a few days a week, stay at like either my brother's or my parents, and just stay and just do all my events and like any in-person like connects or anything like that, like in the city during that time. But the sacrifice is that I would be gone, maybe 2 to 3 nights and days every other week per month, right? So that's tough in terms of like being away from my own family for that time period. That would be like my solution to that, because most of the burbs that we're looking at, I've already looked into it. There isn't much of an entrepreneurship like community. Now there's something to be said as you can try to start it yourself and just grow from there, but there really isn't just like ambitious people where
Yeah,
I'm going.
yeah. I was gonna say the quality of I don't want to say the quality, but like the aptitude level of like hustle drops significantly the further away from the core center you go, right?
It does, it does. And then on the other side of your question there, moving across the country.
Hmm.
So the space we're looking at is in Kelowna, which is it's a very concentrated hub of entrepreneurs. I would say pretty high quality entrepreneurs are there. And so community aspect can be lively there and very, I don't know what I'm gonna call like beneficial to just being like within proximity of that network. And there's space in terms of like suburbs that are not too far away from it, like within like a 15-20 minute drive, right? Which is like a perfect middle ground because Kelowna is like, it's small, weather's good, close community, and a relatively affordable real estate. So around the family aspect, how I would kind of keep them, tied into our lives still. It's a lot tougher. I mean, like my thoughts was like, well, one, we're probably going to be FaceTiming a lot more than we are right now because we don't really FaceTime. We'll just go see them, right?
Hmm.
So FaceTiming will become a big thing. And it's like I know both our parents and our family and some friends might be willing to kind of come out and come see us. And likewise for us, like we would more than happy. We travel all the time anyway, so we're happy to travel back to Toronto itself to go see. So there's just a slightly bigger expense, slightly bigger time commitment to make the effort to go see them. But more truthfully, like overall, even if we did, more than likely we wouldn't be there forever. Like we would more than likely come back at some point. I don't know when, but at some point.
I see. Okay, so you're thinking about like a short, midterm sort of move with this.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe no more than a couple years.
I
Yeah.
think that's one of the benefits of renting, is it not? Like
Yes.
the ability to just pick up and leave and restart a lease contract. Like I think a lot of people like talk about renting like it's a waste of money, and I get that. I understand I understand the methodology is, but I think what you get for the price of wasting your money, quote unquote, or burning it is the flexibility to make decisions like this for the mid to short term, where you can
Yeah.
just pick something that is more convenient for your, or necessary rather, for your lifestyle or development in the short term.
Exactly. Exactly. So I personally don't mind renting at all. I've owned a home before, and there's a lot less stresses with renting, let me tell you. There's a convenience aspect to it where I'm willing to pay whatever profit margin that this landlord or owner has for me to have the convenience of like being able to pick up and leave and not have to worry about certain things as well within the home. So to me, I'm totally fine with it. I like the convenience of it. The downside is just like we also don't want to be moving every couple years, right? That's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
there's a stress to being able to doing that. So I think for me, like my kind of next steps on how to like figure that out is like one, try to make sure I put myself in not only like what I think is important to me, but also the shoes of my fiance and being a mom and like taking care of a baby pretty much every single day and what that means and what supports are required. So try to keep that in mind. And then yeah, two, I'm actually taking steps to go check out some of these neighborhoods and try to make something a reality. Like, going out, I'm going out to Kelowna next week to actually go check out some neighborhoods. We've been checking out, actually driving out to some of these neighborhoods and places close to the city here as well too. So
Hmm.
I think just taking those steps will help. So it's a challenge, but it's a necessary challenge that will resolve itself in the next few months, essentially. So yeah,
On the next episode,
yeah,
we'll follow Corey as he rebuilds and renovates his newly rented
that's
property
right,
to fit his family needs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, man, how about you? What's any challenges or failures for you this week?
Mine's a bit shorter, but a little bit more, certainly more business oriented. But I had a lead with a very large bank. This is an employer of several 100,000 employees in the United States,
Okay.
one of the largest banks in the country. And I just found out that I found out what kind of contracts they had within the space of the wellness thing. And
Yep.
it's just going to be hard to break that relationship up. And so I feel like I hit a bit of a brick wall with that. And so I'm
Mm,
wondering, it's not a problem because I didn't have that client in the bag anyway, right? It was just something that I was exploring. But what it is making me wonder is how big do the companies that I want to service need to be for this to work out? And
mm,
I think that a company as large as this one is likely looking for a more simple solution that is cheaper based on what I've heard, rather than something that is a little bit more nuanced and carefully curated. So I'm wondering where that sweet spot is for me, because on the low end, you may have companies that don't want to say spend money on a wellness program. They're not ready yet. Where does that
right.
buy box begin is my personal challenge, and I'm trying to discover that. But the learning is I think that several 100,000 employees is I'm unlikely to be competitive in that arena purely because of it looks like what they are looking for. I was also surprised to know that they actually ask their employees to pay into it rather than paying for it. But I think it's
Hmm.
because it is so cheap that they are willing to do that as well. So it's sort of that kind of conversation. Yeah, so I think aiming lower on the employee level count would be
Yeah.
certainly better. I'm just wondering if that's 1,000, if that's 500, if that's 200, right? Is that 75? I don't know. So I'm trying to
Right.
figure out what the new ceiling is, and then certainly what the floor is. I think the floor will be easier to find than the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're more like mid-market, maybe. Is it the hypothesis right now? Like
That's
so
currently the
I mean,
hypothesis. Yeah.
so how do you plan on like kind of testing this? Like, of course you can do research, but like there's nothing better than just like getting on calls with these
I
types of
think it's going
companies
to be
and
trial and error, right? Like not to like I'm not going to completely scratch off the ability to service a substantially large company with like 100,000 employees. I'm not saying that that's completely out of the scope here, but
Mhm.
I think that again from my learning, it seems like they're also the ones that will burn the most amount of money on something that's brick and mortar rather than software as a solution,
R-
and then
Right.
it will have horrible utility of that facility and stuff like that, and they'll write it off and then carry on. So it's a bit of
Yeah.
it's the bureaucratic mess sort of thing, right? And once you I think this is now two companies, both substantially large, where they ran the same thing. They built the brick and mortar and they're like, we have this shiny new thing. And I'm like, what's your utility? And they're like, we'll let you know. Right. And,
Yeah.
that's usually the map out for a disaster a year from now. But then on the other end of things, they have a very, very low budget solution. So they have an extremely high budget solution and an extremely low budget solution, and neither of them are utilized.
Hmm.
But that is their kind of thing. I feel like this is one of those things where several years in the business, when you have a case built out, that would be the big fish to chase to try to talk some sense into people of like, stop burning money here and stop asking your employees to pay this where they don't use this
Right.
and they don't use that. And then this is the middle sweet spot where they will be happy and utilize the
Right.
services.
Cool. So a little bit of trial error for you on
Hmm.
that. But yeah, that's okay. That's the business research and development part of the business, right? So
I'm
that's
always
fine.
happy to hear a no because a no is a
Hmm.
closed answer, meaning like I know that that is not going to work. So I can just put that aside as a learning, take the learnings, put it in a log, and then carry on. The worst is an open-ended no, where it's leaning towards a no, but it's not a concrete no. I hate
Hmm.
that because it leads you in the loop of follow-ups, right? Like, do I follow up every month, every quarter, every year? Where is it? Where does that need to go, right? Versus a no, it's like, okay, you're not ready. I'm not ready. I'll revisit this when I feel ready later on, which empowers
Yep.
you. It puts power back into you in that case, right? Even off of a rejection.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. It's having a definitive no is still very very useful than a loose one, right? So
Yes. Yes.
cool.
Even this one
Cool. Cool.
though, it
Cool.
took it took a couple of follow-ups to get the actual concrete no, which is hilarious to me because it's sort of like they sort of beat around the bush of it, and then I'm
Yep.
addressing their. I always do this. I have a knack for doing this, but like I sense a soft no, and I just want to hear a concrete no. So I follow up to get more and more into it. Like I sort of beat down their very soft rejections with like, well, this doesn't make sense. This could make sense. And then
Yeah.
eventually you get to the truth where it's like, oh no, we actually have this and this and this in place, which is great because now I have market insight, which I didn't have on the first soft no.
Right. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So yeah, I mean, hey, I still think that that's still a smart play. Like you sense a soft no, just like keep beating it down till you get the hard no, but you get some more information out of it.
I
So
got
it's
some
okay.
info. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got some market info off it. I know exactly who their provider is now, right? So it's like, I can do research on that. I could know how to be competitive in that arena.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, I think that was our wins. Those were our challenges. Some ways that we're gonna go kind of go tackle both very different types of challenges. One in business, one in life in general. So I think this was another great segment. Yeah, I
Build
love
and
this being
breathe,
able to
baby.
just be very build and breathe, able to be very honest. And yeah, I feel like the title of this is just so appropriate for what we're exactly doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
building has stresses, but you need to breathe as well.
Hey, thanks for tuning in and thanks for listening. Please feel free to give us a like or a review or a comment on whatever platform you found us on. And if you want to send Cory or I a direct message if something you found was super relatable, give us a shout on our socials. We'll put them in the description below. Thanks again for listening in and tuning in to Build and Breathe.